Lucas standing up was the first real crack in their composure. Not denial, not confusion. Fear. Pure, instinctive fear. And once you see that in someone, you can't unsee it. Sit down, I said quietly. My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to, because something in my tone made all three of them pause. Lucas hesitated for half a second, then slowly pulled the chair back and sat down again. Good. Now we were getting somewhere. I didn't break eye contact with him. Let's try this again, I said, tapping the phone lightly. Ethan texted me last night. 3:07 a.m. His number, his chat, no tricks. Ryan rubbed his face nervously. Phones can be cloned, numbers spoofed. You know that, right? He was trying too hard, too fast, like he had rehearsed excuses before. But you didn't ask how, I replied. You asked where I got it. Silence. Again. Mia's breathing had gotten heavier now. She wasn't even pretending anymore. Her eyes were locked on that message like it was about to crawl out of the screen. Lucas leaned forward, lowering his voice. Delete it. I blinked. What? I said delete it. He repeated, sharper this time. Right now. And there it was. Not confusion, not concern. Control. They didn't want answers. They wanted this buried. A slow, cold realization spread through me. These weren't just people who knew something. These were people who were involved. My grip tightened around the phone. Why? I asked. Lucas didn't answer immediately. His jaw clenched. His eyes flicked toward Ryan. Then Mia, like he was calculating something. Bad move, because hesitation is guilt's best friend. Ryan finally spoke, his voice lower now. Look, you're overthinking this. Ethan's gone. You need to let this go. Let this go. The words hit harder than they should have, because for a second, just a second, I remembered standing at Ethan's grave, everyone saying the same thing. It was an accident. Nothing you can do. Move on. But now those words sounded different. Not comforting. Convenient. Too convenient. I leaned in closer. So tell me what happened that night. Lucas scoffed. We already told the police everything. I'm not the police. Exactly, he snapped, and there it was again. That edge, that panic slipping through. Mia suddenly spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. We should just tell him. Both Ryan and Lucas turned to her instantly. No, Lucas said firmly. Ryan shook his head. Mia, don't. But she was already breaking. Her hands were trembling now, gripping the edge of the table like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. You don't understand, she said, looking at me. This isn't something you want to be involved in. Too late. Way too late. I felt my pulse slow down. Strangely calm now, because the truth was finally within reach. I got a message from a dead man. I said quietly, I think I'm already involved. Her eyes filled with tears. That was the moment I knew. Ethan didn't die in a simple accident. Something happened that night. Something they were all trying to bury. Lucas slammed his hand on the table. That's enough. The entire cafe went quiet for a second. A few people turned to look, then quickly looked away. He leaned closer to me, his voice low and dangerous. You need to stop digging. There it was. Not a warning. A threat. And instead of scaring me, it did the opposite. Because fear only works when you still believe someone has control. And right now, they were the ones losing it. I picked up my phone slowly, unlocked it, opened the message again, and slid it toward them, then explained this. This time, I watched carefully. Every reaction, every micro-expression. Ryan swallowed hard. Mia looked like she was about to cry. But Lucas stared at the screen like he recognized it. Not just a number. The message itself. And that's when something clicked in my head. A memory. Faint, but sharp. 3 months ago, Ethan and I were sitting on his rooftop, talking about random stuff like always. He was unusually quiet that night. Distracted. I remember asking him what was wrong. He laughed it off at first. Then he said something strange. If something ever happens to me. I interrupted him. Bro, stop. You're not dying. He smirked. I'm serious. If something happens, don't trust. His phone rang. He looked at it and immediately went silent. Call ended. Conversation over. At the time, I thought nothing of it. But now that unfinished sentence echoed in my head. Don't trust. And the message on my phone. Don't trust them. My eye snapped back to Lucas. You've seen this before. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Lucas didn't respond, but his silence confirmed everything. Ryan suddenly stood up. This is going nowhere. We're leaving. Mia hesitated. Lucas didn't move. He was still staring at me. And for the first time, I saw something else in his eyes. Not just fear. Not just anger. Something darker. Something calculating. Be careful, he said quietly. Then he stood up, and just like that, they walked out, leaving me there, with more questions and answers. But one thing was now clear. Crystal clear. Ethan didn't die in an accident. And whatever happened that night was dangerous enough that 3 people were willing to lie, hide, and threaten to keep it buried. I sat there for a long time, staring at that message. Don't trust them. Ryan, Lucas, Mia. Oh, someone else? My phone buzzed again. My heart skipped. Slowly, I looked down. Same contact. Ethan. Another message. This time, it was longer. My fingers felt numb as I opened it. If you're reading this, it means they didn't finish the job properly. My breath caught. Didn't finish the job? What did that even mean? My chest tightened as I kept reading. Go to my locker. School. Code is your birthday. Don't tell anyone. And then, nothing. No typing bubble. No follow-up. Just silence. I stared at the message, my mind racing. Locker? Why would Ethan leave something there? And more importantly, why did it feel like I was stepping into something way bigger than I was prepared for? But the truth is, I didn't hesitate. Not even for a second. Because now, this wasn't just about curiosity. This was about Ethan. About what really happened to him. And about the people who thought they could get away with it. I stood up slowly, picked up my phone, and walked out of that cafe with one clear thought in my mind. Whatever was inside that locker was going to change everything. I still remember the exact moment my phone lit up that night. 3:07 a.m. No one texts at 3 a.m. unless it's something bad, or something that changes your life forever. At first, I ignored it. I was half asleep, my room silent except for the faint hum of the ceiling fan. Outside, the world felt dead. No cars, no voices, just that eerie stillness that makes everything feel wrong. Then my phone buzzed again. Longer this time. Persistent. Annoying. I groaned, reached over blindly, and pulled it off the nightstand. One new message. From Ethan. And my entire body froze. Because Ethan was dead. My thumb hovered over the screen, trembling slightly. My brain refused to process it. It didn't make sense. It couldn't make sense. We buried him. I stood there. I watched them lower his coffin into the ground. I heard his mother scream. So how was he texting me? I swallowed hard and opened the message. Don't trust them. That was it. 4 words. But the moment I read them, something inside me snapped awake. My heart started pounding so loud it felt like it was echoing in my skull. My mouth went dry. My fingers tightened around the phone. Don't trust them. Them? Who the hell was them? I stared at the message, waiting, hoping maybe another one would come. Something to explain it. Nothing. Just that one sentence. Cold, cryptic, terrifying. I immediately called his number. It rang once, twice. Then, the number you are trying to reach is currently unavailable. I sat up straight in bed now, fully awake, adrenaline flooding my system. No. This wasn't possible. Someone had his phone. That had to be it. Someone was messing with me. But who? And why? I opened our old chat. Months of conversations. Memes. Jokes. Late-night talks. Arguments. Plans. And then it stopped. Right around the day he died. Until now. I stared at the last message again. Don't trust them. My chest tightened. because suddenly, it didn't feel like a prank anymore. It felt like a warning. Ethan wasn't just my friend. He was my brother. We grew up together. Same street, same school, same stupid dreams about leaving this place and becoming something bigger. He was the kind of guy who laughed too loud, trusted too easily, and somehow managed to make everyone like him. Everyone. Which is why his death never made sense to me. They said it was an accident. Car crash. Late night. Rain. Slippery road. Simple. Clean. Case closed. But I remember standing at his funeral, looking at his closed casket, and feeling something was off. Something unfinished. And now this message? It confirmed it. Something wasn't right. The next morning, I couldn't sit still. I barely slept after that. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his name lighting up my screen. 3:07 a.m. Don't trust them. I kept replaying it in my head, over and over again. By sunrise, I had already made up my mind. I needed answers. First, I went to the only people who were with him the night he died. Ryan, Lucas, and Mia, his so-called last group. We all used to hang out together, but things changed in the last few months before Ethan died. He got closer to them, more secretive, more distant from me. At the time, I thought it was normal. People grow apart. But now it felt like something else. I found them at our usual cafe, the same place we used to spend hours laughing, planning stupid business ideas, talking about life like we had it all figured out. Today, it felt different, cold, tense. Ryan saw me first. "Hey, man," he said, forcing a smile. Lucas barely looked up. Mia just stared at her coffee. Something was off, and they all knew it. I didn't sit down. I just pulled out my phone and placed it on the table, the screen still showing that message. Explain this. Silence. Thick. Uncomfortable. Ryan's smile disappeared instantly. Lucas leaned forward slightly, eyes narrowing. Mia's hand froze midair. "Where did you get that?" Lucas asked quietly. That question told me everything. They weren't confused. They weren't shocked. They were scared. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about a message anymore. This was about the truth behind Ethan's death. And whatever they were hiding was big enough to make all three of them panic. I leaned closer, my voice low, controlled. "He texted me last night." Ryan shook his head immediately. "That's not possible." But his voice cracked. Mia whispered, "This isn't funny." "I'm not joking." Lucas stood up suddenly, knocking his chair back slightly. "We should go." "Go? Go where? Why?" Unless they had something to hide. And that's when it hit me. Ethan didn't just send me a message. He chose me. Out of everyone, he chose me. Which meant one thing. Whatever happened that night, whatever really killed him, these three knew the truth. And I was about to uncover it, no matter what it cost me. The entire drive to the school, something didn't feel right. Not fear, not exactly. It was heavier than that. Like I was walking straight into something that had already been set in motion, long before I even realized it. Ethan's words kept replaying in my head. If you're reading this, it means they didn't finish the job properly. Didn't finish the job. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't a mistake. That was intent. Someone didn't just cause his death. They tried to make sure it happened. The school looked exactly the same, which somehow made everything feel worse. Same gates. Same faded paint on the walls. Same empty silence in the early afternoon. Life had moved on here. But Ethan hadn't. I parked across the street and just sat there for a moment, watching, thinking, overanalyzing every possible outcome. What if this was a trap? What if someone was watching? What if Lucas was already here? But then another thought hit me harder than all the others. What if I didn't go? What if I walked away? Then Ethan's voice, his laugh, his stupid jokes, the way he always had my back, hit me all at once. And just like that, there was no choice. I stepped out of the car, locked it, and started walking toward the gate. Each step felt louder than it should, echoing in my head. Too aware, too exposed. The security guard barely looked at me, recognized me, nodded, let me in. That alone made my stomach twist. Too easy, way too easy. The hallway smelled exactly like I remembered. Dust, old wood, faint traces of cleaning chemicals. And memories. Too many memories. Ethan and I used to run through these holes like idiots. Late for class. Laughing over nothing. Now every step felt like walking through a ghost. The locker area was empty. Dead silent. Rows of metal doors lined up like they were watching me. Judging me. Waiting. I found his locker instantly. Second row. Left side. Number still scratched slightly from where he once kicked it out of frustration. Same locker. Same spot. Different reality. My hands felt colder than usual as I stood in front of it. This was it. Whatever Ethan left behind, whatever he couldn't say, was inside this. I took a breath, then another, and reached for the lock. Code, my birthday. The fact that he used my birthday, that alone hit deeper than anything else. Like he knew, like he trusted me to be the one to find this. I turned the dial. Slowly, each click louder than it should be. First number, second, third, and then, click, the lock opened. For a moment, I didn't move, just stared at it, because once I opened that locker, there was no going back. I pulled it open, slowly, carefully, like something inside might explode. At first glance, it looked empty, too empty. No books, no bag, nothing, just a cold, hollow space. My chest tightened. Are you kidding me? I muttered. Was this a joke? Did I come all the way here for nothing? Then I noticed it. A small piece of black tape, stuck to the inside top corner, barely visible, hidden, intentional. I reached up and peeled it off. Behind it was a tiny USB drive. My heart dropped. This was it. This had to be it. I held it in my hand, staring at it like it was some kind of bomb. Because in a way, it was. Whatever was inside this had the power to destroy someone. Maybe all of them. Footsteps. Somewhere behind me. I froze. Every muscle in my body locked instantly. Slow. Measured. Getting closer. I turned my head slightly. Not fully. Just enough to catch movement in the reflection of the locker door. A figure. Standing at the end of the hallway. Watching. My heart started pounding again. Not loud. Violent. It was him. Lucas. Of course. Of course he followed me. He knew. He had to know. We locked eyes. From a distance. Neither of us moved. But everything in that moment said enough. He knew I found something. And I knew he wasn't going to let me walk out of here easily. I closed the locker slowly, slipped the USB into my pocket, and turned fully toward him. No more games, Lucas said, his voice echoing slightly in the empty hallway. His tone was different now. No pretending. No fake calm. Just raw intent. You shouldn't have come here, he added. I let out a quiet breath. You shouldn't have followed me. A faint smirk appeared on his face. Not amused. Not friendly. Calculated. You think you know what you're doing? He asked. I didn't answer. Because honestly, I didn't. But that didn't matter anymore. What's on that drive? I asked instead. Straight. Direct. No fear in my voice. Even if my body was screaming. Lucas took a few slow steps forward. Not rushing. Not threatening. Just confident. Too confident. Something that's not meant for you, he said. Yeah. I replied. Funny, because Ethan thought otherwise. That name hit him. I saw it. Just for a second. His expression tightened. His jaw flexed. Ethan made mistakes, Lucas said. Cold. Detached. Like he was talking about a stranger. No, I said quietly. You did. Silence. Heavy. Thick. Dangerous. And then he laughed. Low. Almost impressed. You really don't get it, do you? He said. And before I could respond, he reached into his pocket. My entire body tensed. Instinct kicking in. Fight or run. Right now. But he didn't pull out a weapon. Not immediately. Just his phone. He held it up, showed me the screen. A video. Paused. Dark. Grainy. But familiar. Too familiar. My blood ran cold. Because even before it played, I knew whatever was on that USB. Lucas already had a copy. Last chance, he said quietly. Give it to me and walk away. My mind raced. Options, outcomes, consequences, all crashing into each other at once. But then, Ethan's message echoed again. Don't trust them. I looked Lucas dead in the eyes and made my choice. No, that one word changed everything. His expression shifted instantly. Not surprised, not angry, just resolved. Then you're making the same mistake he did. And that's when I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just about hiding the truth anymore. This was about finishing something. And I was now part of it. The moment I said, no, something shifted. Not just in Lucas. In the entire atmosphere. Like the air itself had gotten heavier, harder to breathe. Lucas didn't rush me. That's what made it worse. He just stood there, staring, like he was measuring how far he'd have to go. You really should have listened, he said quietly. Then he tapped his phone. The video started playing. At first, it was just darkness, shaky camera, heavy breathing, wind, rain, then headlights, a road, and a car. My chest tightened, because I recognized that car instantly. Ethan's. The footage zoomed slightly. Not professional, not clean. Someone recorded this secretly, from a distance, hidden, watching. The car door opened. Ethan stepped out, alive, talking, arguing with someone. But the angle, I couldn't see who. I took a step forward without realizing it. Pause it, I said. Lucas didn't move. Pause it, I repeated. He smirked slightly. Why? You already know how it ends. My fist clenched. No, I don't. Lucas tilted his head slightly, then let the video keep playing. The argument got louder. Even through the wind, I could hear fragments. Ethan's voice. Angry. Frustrated. You said it was just business. Pause. A second voice. Familiar, but muffled. Then Ethan again. You think I won't expose this? My heart skipped. Expose what? I looked at Lucas. His eyes never left mine. The video continued. The tension escalated. Fast. Too fast. Then, a shove. Ethan stumbled backward, hit the side of the car. My chest felt tight now, like something was crushing it from the inside. Who is that? I demanded. Lucas didn't answer. The video shook violently for a second, like whoever was recording got nervous, or scared. Then came the moment, the one that changed everything. A loud crack. Not thunder, not the car. Something else. Ethan collapsed. Just dropped, like his body gave up all at once. My ears started ringing. Everything else faded. No, I whispered. The video didn't stop. It got worse. The figure stepped closer to Ethan, still partially hidden, still unclear. But one thing was obvious now. This wasn't an accident. Ethan moved slightly, barely, still alive, and then I heard it. Clear, cold, unforgivable. Make sure he doesn't get up. My entire body went numb, because that voice, I recognized it. I looked up slowly, at Lucas. He was already watching me, waiting. You see now, he said quietly. My throat felt dry. Ryan. Lucas didn't confirm it, didn't deny it, but his silence said enough. Ryan, the same guy who sat across from me this morning, the same guy who told me to let it go. He was there, that night, and he didn't stop it. The video continued. Another movement, another figure stepping in. Smaller, hesitant. Mia. She backed away, shaking her head, crying. I didn't sign up for this. Her voice cracked. Real, terrified. And then, the camera dropped slightly, like the person recording panicked. Footsteps, voices overlapping, chaos, then silence. The video ended. I didn't realize I was breathing heavily until I heard it echo in the hallway. That, I couldn't even finish the sentence. Lucas slid his phone back into his pocket. That's what happens when people don't stay in their lane, he said coldly. I stared at him, trying to process everything. Ethan wasn't just killed. He was silenced. Why? I asked. Lucas stepped closer, now only a few feet away. Because he got greedy, he said. because he thought he could take everything down and walk away clean. Take what down? A pause. Then Lucas smiled. Not wide, not friendly, just enough to send a chill down my spine. You'll find out, he said, glancing briefly at my pocket. The hard way. That USB, whatever was inside it, was bigger than just Ethan, bigger than Ryan, bigger than Mia. This wasn't just revenge anymore. This was something dangerous, something organized, something they were willing to kill for. And now, I had a piece of it. Lucas stepped back slightly, creating space, but not leaving. Not yet. You still have time, he said. Walk away. Forget everything. Live your life. I shook my head slowly. Too late. Way too late. You should have finished the job, I said quietly. That hit him, harder than anything else. For the first time, his expression cracked, just a little. And that's when I knew they made a mistake. They didn't just fail to silence Ethan. They left behind proof. And now, they had me. Lucas exhaled slowly, then nodded, almost disappointed. All right, he said, and that one word felt like a trigger being pulled, because whatever came next wasn't going to be a warning. It was going to be action, real danger, real consequences, and I was standing right in the middle of it. Lucas said, all right. And in that moment, I knew the talking was over. He took one step forward. Not fast, not aggressive, but controlled, like someone who had already decided how this was going to end. My instinct screamed at me, move, now. I didn't wait. I turned and ran. Footsteps exploded behind me, fast, heavy, closing the distance. The hallway felt longer than before, too long, like it was stretching just to slow me down. My heart was slamming against my chest, every breath sharp, burning. Stop! Lucas shouted behind me. Yeah, not happening. I reached the corner and cut left hard, nearly slipping as my shoes scraped across the polished floor. Another set of footsteps. From the other side. I froze for half a second. Wrong move. Ryan stepped into the hallway, blocking the exit. Of course, they planned this. My brain switched instantly. No panic, just survival. I turned back. Lucas was already too close. Trapped. My eyes scanned quickly. Doors, windows, distance, options. There. Fire exit. End of the corridor. I sprinted, pushing harder than I thought I could. Ryan lunged. His hand brushed my shoulder, but I twisted, slipping past him just enough to break free. Don't let him leave. Lucas shouted. Too late. I slammed into the fire exit door, pushed it open, and burst outside. Fresh air hit my lungs like fire. But I didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Behind me, the door slammed open again. They were still coming. I ran across the empty field, grass uneven under my feet, almost tripping twice. My car, across the street, too far. Think. Then I saw it, a broken section of the side fence. Barely noticeable. I changed direction instantly. Cut him off. Ryan yelled. They were splitting up. Good. That meant they were desperate. I reached the fence. Climbed. Metal cutting into my hands. Shirt tearing slightly. Didn't care. Dropped to the other side. Stumbled. Recovered. Kept running. Footsteps behind me again. Closer than I expected. I turned my head slightly. Lucas. Right behind me. Faster than Ryan. Focused. Relentless. Give it to me, he shouted. I pushed harder. Legs screaming now. Lungs burning. But then, a car horn. Loud. Sharp. I looked up. A car turning the corner. Fast. Too fast. I didn't think. I ran straight toward it. The driver slammed the brakes. Tires screeching. Car stopping inches from me. I yanked the passenger door open. Jumped inside. Drive. The driver didn't even question it. Instinct kicked in. They hit the gas. I looked back. Lucas stood in the middle of the road, watching, not chasing anymore, not angry, not shouting, just staring. And slowly, he smiled. That smile was worse than anything else, because it didn't say you escaped. It said, This isn't over. 10 minutes later, I finally caught my breath. The driver glanced at me. You okay, man? I nodded. Barely. Yeah, just wrong place, wrong time. He didn't push. Thank God. I got out a few streets away, walked the rest, made sure I wasn't followed, checked every reflection, every shadow, every parked car. Paranoia? Maybe. But after what I just saw, it felt justified. Back home, I locked the door, checked the windows, closed the curtains. Then finally, I pulled the USB out of my pocket. This tiny piece of metal had already nearly gotten me caught. Whatever was inside had to be big. I walked to my desk, sat down slowly. My laptop felt heavier than usual as I opened it. For a second, I hesitated, because deep down, I knew something. Once I opened this, everything would change. There would be no normal life after this. No going back. Just truth, danger, and whatever came after. I plugged it in. The screen flickered slightly. Files loaded. One folder. Just one. Named. If I'm gone. My chest tightened instantly. I clicked it. Inside, videos, documents, audio files, dozens. Ethan didn't just suspect something. He was building a case. My hands trembled slightly as I opened the first video. Ethan appeared on screen. Alive. Serious. Different. If you're watching this. He paused. Took a breath. Then I was right. My throat tightened. Something is wrong, he continued. Ryan, Lucas, they involved in something bigger. I didn't believe it at first, but I followed them. My heart started racing again. Money transfers, fake accounts, deals that don't make sense. And then, he leaned closer to the camera. People started disappearing. A chill ran down my spine. This isn't just money, he said quietly. This is something else. My mind raced. What kind of something? I whispered, as if answering me. Ethan clicked something on his end. The screen changed. Photos, locations, documents. And then, one file opened. A list of names. Some crossed out, some not. My blood ran cold, because one of the uncrossed names was mine. I leaned back slowly, heart pounding again. No, I whispered. Ethan's voice continued. If you're seeing this, it means I didn't make it. And if you're on that list. He looked directly into the camera. Run. Silence. The video ended. I stared at the screen. Frozen. This wasn't revenge anymore. This wasn't even just about Ethan. I wasn't just chasing the truth. I was on a list. And the people who made that list already tried to kill once. My phone buzzed. I flinched. Unknown number. I stared at it for a long second. Then I answered. Silence. Then a voice. Calm. Cold. Unfamiliar. You should have listened. My grip tightened instantly. Who is this? I snapped. A pause. Then, you have something that doesn't belong to you. My heart sank. They knew. Of course they knew. You don't understand what you're involved in, the voice continued. I stayed silent, listening, thinking. Return it, they said, and maybe you'll stay off the list. The call ended, just like that. No goodbye, no warning, just a choice. And now, everything was clear. Ethan didn't just leave me answers. He left me a war. And whether I liked it or not, I was already in it. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a second. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that list. Names, crossed out, gone. And mine, still there, waiting. Ethan's last word echoed in my head again and again. Run. But something inside me refused. Not out of bravery, not even anger. Something deeper, something heavier. Because if I ran, they'd still win. Ethan would still be just another name on that list. Another accident. Another lie buried and forgotten. No, I wasn't running. I was going to flip this. I sat in the dark, laptop still open, going through every single file Ethan left behind. Hours passed, and slowly, the pieces started connecting. Fake companies, Shell accounts. Money being moved in patterns that looked random, but weren't. Large amounts. Too large. Millions. But it wasn't just money. That's what made it worse. There were recordings. Short. Hidden. Fragments of conversations. Shipment arrived Friday. No mistakes this time. Clean it before anyone sees. My stomach twisted. This wasn't just some scam. This was organized, structured, dangerous. And Ryan, Lucas, they weren't just involved. They were part of it. Then I found something else. A document labeled Warehouse 17. I opened it. Location coordinates. Photos. Nighttime shots. Blurry. Taken from a distance. One image stood out. A van. Parked near a large metal building. Back doors open. Inside, boxes. Stacks of them. And beside them, Ryan. Clear. No doubt. My jaw tightened. Ethan wasn't guessing. He had proof, which meant one thing. They didn't kill him because he was wrong. They killed him because he was right. I leaned back in my chair, mind racing. Heart steady now. Different kind of calm. The kind you get right before you do something dangerous. I wasn't going to the police. Not yet, because if this was as big as it looked, there was no guarantee they weren't already compromised. No, I needed leverage first. Something they couldn't ignore. Something that would make them panic. And then, I saw it. Another file. Smaller. Almost hidden. Account. Final backup. I opened it. And there it was. Bank records. Transfers. Names tied to accounts. Real names. Not just Ryan. Not just Lucas. Bigger people. High up. This wasn't just a small operation. This was a network. And I now had their financial backbone. I stared at the screen. Then slowly, a plan started forming. If they wanted the USB, I'd use it. Not to give it back, but to pull them out. Expose them. Break them. One by one. Step 1. Make them believe I'm scared. Step 2. Make them think I'm willing to deal. Step 3. Trap them. I picked up my phone. Opened a new message. Typed Lucas's number. My fingers hovered for a second. Then I wrote, I'm ready to talk. Sent. 3 dots appeared instantly. He was waiting. Good, he replied, finally making smart decisions. I smirked slightly. Not this time. Tomorrow, I typed, come alone. A pause. Longer this time. Then, location. I looked back at the files. At the warehouse. Perfect. Warehouse 17. This time, the typing dot stayed longer. Good. That meant something. He didn't expect that. Fine, he replied finally. Don't try anything stupid. I put the phone down slowly. My reflection stared back at me from the black screen. I didn't look like the same person anymore. Not the guy who ignored a 3 a.m. message. Not the guy who sat at a cafe looking for answers. This was different. Now, I had direction. Now, I had a target. The next day came faster than I expected. I didn't tell anyone. Didn't leave a trace. USB in my pocket. Phone fully charged. And something else. Insurance. Before leaving, I uploaded every single file. To multiple cloud accounts. Scheduled emails. Automatic sends. If anything happened to me, everything would go public. No way out for them. No clean escape. By the time I reached Warehouse 17, the sun was already setting. Orange light cutting across the empty lot. Long shadows stretching across the ground. The building looked abandoned. Old. Rusty. Silent. Perfect place. For something illegal. Or something worse. I stepped out of the car slowly. Every sound felt amplified. Every movement calculated. Then, a car pulled in behind me. Lucas. Of course. He stepped out. Alone. Just like I asked. But something about his expression told me he wasn't worried. Not even a little. That should have scared me. But instead, it confirmed something. He still thought he was in control. Which meant he wasn't ready for what I was about to do. He walked toward me. Slow. Confident. You brought it? He asked. I tapped my pocket. Of course. His eyes narrowed slightly. Good, he said. Then he smiled again, that same smile. But this time, I wasn't the one being hunted. This time, I was the one setting the trap. And Lucas had just walked right into it. Lucas stopped a few feet in front of me, close enough that I could see every detail on his face. No fear, no hesitation, just confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from thinking you've already won. "You actually showed up," he said, glancing around the empty lot. "Wasn't sure you had the nerve." I let out a slow breath. I could say the same. His eyes flicked to my pocket. The USB. He wanted it. Badly. "Let's not waste time," he said. "Give it to me, and we both walk away." Walk away. Like nothing happened. Like Ethan didn't die. Like I didn't see that video. I almost laughed. Instead, I stepped slightly to the side, positioning myself between him and the warehouse entrance. Subtle, but intentional. "You really think this ends with me handing it over?" I asked. Lucas tilted his head. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I smiled faintly. "That's funny. I was about to say the same thing." A pause. The air between us shifted again. Tighter. Sharper. "Open the door," I said, nodding toward the warehouse. Lucas frowned slightly. "Why?" "Because what you want isn't out here." That got his attention. For the first time, he hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. "You think I'm stupid?" he asked. "No," I said calmly. "I think you're careful, which is why you'll want to see it for yourself." Another pause. Then he moved, slowly walking past me toward the warehouse door. Good. Exactly where I wanted him. I followed behind him. Not too close. Just enough. The metal door creaked as he pushed it open. Inside, darkness, dust, and silence. He stepped in first. I stepped in after him. The door closed behind us with a heavy thud. Lucas turned around, eyes adjusting, scanning. "There's nothing here," he said. "Look closer," I replied. He took a few steps forward. And then the lights flickered on. Bright, sudden, blinding. Lucas froze, because now he could see everything. The warehouse wasn't empty. Cameras, 3 of them, set up at different angles, all pointed at us. And in the corner, a laptop, open, recording. Lucas's expression changed instantly. Not fear, not yet, but something close. "What is this?" he asked slowly. I stepped forward. "This," I said, "is insurance." He laughed. Short, sharp. "You think this scares me?" "No," I said. "I think this scares the people above you." That hit hard. His jaw tightened, eyes narrowing. "You don't know what you're dealing with," he said. "I know enough," I replied. "Enough to expose everything. The money, the names, the operations." I pointed toward the laptop. "Everything on that USB is already uploaded." Silence. Lucas didn't move, didn't speak, but I could see it now. The shift, control, slipping. "You're bluffing," he said. "Am I?" I replied. I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen, turned it toward him. Scheduled emails, multiple recipients, timestamps, attachments. "If I don't cancel those," I said quietly, "everything goes out." A long pause. Then Lucas laughed again, but this time it wasn't confident. "You think this is enough?" he asked. "You think this ends anything?" "No," I said. "I think this starts something." Another step forward. "Here's how this goes," I continued. "You tell me everything. Who's above you? What you're running? Why Ethan had to die?" Lucas's eyes darkened. "And if I don't?" I shrugged slightly. "Then you go down first." Silence. Heavy. The kind of silence where everything hangs by a thread. Then Lucas took a step toward me. Fast. Too fast. But I was ready. I stepped back instantly. "Don't," I said sharply. He stopped, because he knew. One wrong move, and everything would explode. "Smart," I added quietly. His breathing had changed now. Slightly heavier. Less controlled. Good. That meant pressure was working. "You're not the first person to try this," he said. Maybe, I replied, but I'm the first one with this much proof. Another pause. Then, something unexpected happened. Lucas smiled. Not like before. Not confident. This one was different. Almost amused. You really think you're ahead right now? He asked. My chest tightened slightly. What do you mean? He stepped close again. Slow this time. You think you're the only one who came prepared. A cold feeling crept up my spine. Check outside, he said quietly. My heart skipped. No, 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 no. I turned slightly toward the warehouse door, and that's when I heard it. Engines. Multiple. Closing in. Fast. My stomach dropped, because in that moment, I realized something. I didn't trap Lucas. I walked straight into something bigger. And now, I wasn't facing one enemy. I was surrounded. Engines. Not one. Not two. At least four. Maybe more. All pulling up outside at the same time. My chest tightened instantly. Not panic. Not yet. But something close. I didn't take my eyes off Lucas. You set me up. He didn't deny it. Didn't even flinch. You walked in yourself, he said calmly. Footsteps outside now. Doors slamming. Voices. Low. Coordinated. Not random. Not sloppy. Professional. I exhaled slowly. Thinking. Fast. The cameras. The laptop. The uploads. That was my leverage. Still was. Unless. Relax, Lucas said, noticing the shift in my expression. You're still alive, aren't you? That wasn't reassuring. That was a timeline. How many? I asked. Lucas smirked slightly. Enough. The warehouse door creaked open. 3 men walked in. Not Ryan. Not Mia. These were different. Older. Sharper. The kind of people who didn't need to prove anything. The one in front stepped forward. Slow. Measured. His eyes landed on me. Then the cameras. Then the laptop. Then back to me. You're the problem, he asked. Not angry. Not loud. Just curious. I didn't answer immediately because something clicked. Lucas wasn't the top. He was just the middle. And this man was higher. I'm the solution, I said finally. A small pause. Then he smiled. Not impressed. Not amused. Interested. That depends, he said, on what you think you have. I stepped slightly closer to the laptop. Enough to burn everything, I replied. He glanced at the screen. You already tried that, he said. My stomach dropped. What? He nodded toward the laptop. Check it. I turned. Fast. The screen was still on. Still recording. But something was wrong. The upload window was gone. Replaced by a single line of text. Upload failed. My heartbeat spiked. No, 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 no. I moved closer. Clicked. Checked the files. Gone. Every single one. Deleted. My hands went cold. That's not possible, I whispered. Behind me, Lucas laughed quietly. You really thought we wouldn't prepare for that, he said. I turned back slowly. The man in front stepped closer now. You walked in here with evidence, he said, which was smart. A pause, uploading it without protection. He shook his head slightly. That was your mistake. My mind raced. Think. USB, still in my pocket. Not everything was lost. Not yet, but they knew, which meant, give it to me, the man said calmly. No shouting, no threat, just certainty. Like he already knew how this would end. I tightened my grip in my pocket. No. Silence. Lucas sighed. He's really not learning, he said. The man raised a hand slightly. Lucas went quiet instantly. Control. Real control. Let me explain something, the man said, stepping closer. I didn't move. Didn't blink. You're not the first person who thought they could expose us. A beat. You won't be the last. Another step, but you, he looked directly into my eyes, are the only one who still has a chance to walk away. Walk away. There it was again. Same offer. Different level. But this time, it felt real. Not because they were kind, because they were confident. Too confident. What happens if I don't? I asked. A small pause. Then he answered. We finish what was started. My chest tightened. Ethan, that night, this was bigger than just him. This was a system, and I had just stepped directly into it. Silence filled the warehouse again. Heavy, waiting. Then, a voice. From behind. Or maybe you won't. Everyone turned. My heart stopped. Ryan, standing at the entrance. But something was different. He wasn't calm. He wasn't controlled. He looked shaken. And beside him, Mia, crying, holding something in her hand. A phone. Ryan stepped forward. This ends now, he said. Lucas frowned. What are you doing? He snapped. Ryan ignored him. He looked at me, then at the man in front. Then he lifted the phone and pressed play. A recording. Clear. Loud. The man's voice. Talking. Giving orders. Names. Dates. Locations. Everything. My eyes widened. Ryan had evidence too. Real evidence. And he just played it. In front of everyone. Silence. Dead silence. Then, the man's expression changed. For the first time. Cracked. What is this? Lucas snapped. Ryan's voice shook. This is me being done. Mia stepped forward slightly. We didn't sign up for this, she said through tears. Lucas looked between them. Confused. Angry. You're both dead if you do this, he hissed. Ryan shook his head. No, we already were. My heart was racing again. Everything was shifting. Fast. Unpredictable. Dangerous. But one thing became clear in that moment. This wasn't just my fight anymore. The cracks were spreading. From the inside. And for the first time, they weren't in control. The man stepped back slightly. Recalculating. Thinking. Then, he looked at me. And smiled again. But this time, it wasn't calm. It was warning. This just got complicated, he said. I met his gaze. Good. Because complicated was exactly what I needed. Everything after that moment happened fast. Too fast. The warehouse turned into chaos. Not loud, not explosive, but tense, like a glass room slowly cracking from every side. Ryan was still holding the phone, the recording echoing in the silence, every word digging deeper, every second exposing more. The man in front of us, the one in control, was no longer calm. You have no idea what you've just done, he said quietly. Ryan stepped forward. For once, I do. Lucas snapped. You idiot! Do you think this saves you? Mia broke down completely. We were never safe, she cried. We were just next. That hit. Everyone felt it. Because it was true. This wasn't loyalty. This wasn't business. This was a system that erased anyone who became a risk. Ethan. And eventually, Ryan. Lucas. Mia. Even me. The man raised his hand slightly. And the others behind him moved. Subtle. Controlled. Not attacking. Positioning. They were calculating their exit. That's when I stepped forward. Stop. All eyes turned to me. I pulled the USB out slowly. Held it up. You walk out. This goes public, I said. The man watched me carefully. You already tried that, he replied. I nodded. Yeah, and you shut it down. A pause. Then I smiled slightly. But this? I lifted the USB slightly higher. This never touched the network. Silence. Real silence. Because now, they didn't know. Bluff or truth? Ryan looked at me. Confused. Lucas looked tense. The man was thinking. Then I took it further. I also wasn't stupid enough to come here without a backup plan. I continued. I pulled out my phone. Opened a video. Ethan, another recording. I kept copies in places they won't find, Ethan said on screen. If anything happens, this doesn't die with me. I paused it and looked straight at the man. You didn't just fail once, I said quietly. You failed twice. That did it. For the first time, real anger appeared on his face. Where? He asked. I didn't answer, because I didn't need to. The power had shifted. Finally, minutes passed. No one moved. No one spoke. Then, the man exhaled slowly and stepped back. "Walk away," he said. "To me. To all of you." Lucas turned sharply. "What?" "It's done," the man said coldly. Ryan lowered the phone slightly. Mia stopped crying. "I didn't move. Just like that." I asked. The man looked at me. "This ends now, or it escalates into something none of you survive." A threat, but also the truth. I thought about it. Ethan, that night, the list, the messages, everything. Revenge wasn't always about destruction. Sometimes it was about taking control, making sure they could never do it again. I stepped forward slowly. "You disappear," I said. The man didn't react. "You shut everything down. Every operation. Every account." A pause. "And if we ever see even a trace of it again." I held up the USB. "This ends for real." Silence. Then he nodded. Once. Lucas looked like he was about to explode. "You're just letting them go," he snapped at me. I looked at him. "No," I said quietly. "I'm ending it." Ryan stepped back. Mia followed. Lucas didn't move. Not until the man said, "Let it go." Cold. Final. And just like that, it was over. No fight. No blood. Just control. Weeks passed. No news. No movement. Accounts vanished. Companies dissolved. Names disappeared. Like they were never there. Ryan left the city. Mia too. Lucas? Gone. No trace. And me? I went back to normal life. Or at least, something close to it. But some things don't leave you. 3:07 a.m. Still hits different. Sometimes. I still look at my phone, half expecting another message. From Ethan. But the truth is, he already said everything he needed to. Don't trust them. And because of that, I didn't just find the truth. I ended what killed him. I visited his grave one last time. Stood there quietly. No anger. No questions. Just closure. "You were right," I said softly. The wind moved slightly. And for the first time since everything happened, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. End. If you had the chance to destroy your enemies completely, or walk away knowing you already won, which one would you choose?